So, for some reason there was a lot of requests to add bow to this character, so that's what we're going to do here. Now, we're not going to add new animations, we're going to work with the animations we had previously. So you see the left hand is using the animation we use on the akimbo weapons. Okay, but we're going to see how we can add arrows. We're going to see just a little bit of a simple way you can make arrows. Okay, we're not going to focus on making an archery game, but we're also going to make them stick on a target. Okay, and with this it's a good also a chance to see how we can add melee weapons too. Okay, see, so that we can hit them. Now there is a problem of course with the animations, and you will see that it clamps to the attack position, and that's why, because we do not have animations, and the way we are doing this, they do not look that great, since the animations do not layer on top of each other. Well, they layer, but they weren't made from the beginning to work with each other well, so you'll see weird animations and like that. So on the later part I will see what we can do about that and finding animations. And also we're going to see a major refactor later on, just so that just so that we can handle a little bit better the rising scale basically of the project. And of course a lot of this stuff will not work exactly great with all the features we have added, so on a future update some of them might be even cut like this. Okay, like if I am over here and hit, he will actually try to attack the wall. So let's see what we need to do. On our third person controller we're going to create for the bow too. We're going to create on a weapon holders right hand offset, we're going to create for the bow another instance for the bow and for the knife, but the knife is a little bit different. For the bow we're going to place right elbow where we want the elbow to aim, the right hand, which is basically is going to be holding the arrow, the look target of course, and the left hand is where the left hand will be. Of course the whole bow over here will be clamped on the position of the shoulder. Okay, so I will have the bow into my left hand, and underneath a game object that's zeroed in and has shareable object script with reset scale. Okay, I have the bow and I also have the arrow inside the bow, which is just a model, and when we are shooting we're going to disable and enable it. Now for the bow we're going to create a new script which we're going to name bow logic, and we're going to have two things. We're going to have the prefab for the arrows we're going to be shooting, and holster arrow is basically the arrow over here, so we open it and close it every time we are throwing an arrow. Okay, and we have that on the same game object that has the weapon reference base and the weapon stats. Now we're going to go on to our weapon references base, and we're going to add two new stuff, weapon type and hit target. Not using this. Okay, weapon type normal, every firearm we have up till now, melee, akimbo and bow, and if you want more you're going to add more. So with this, we're going to go into the weapon manager is going to stay the same, but we're going to go into our handle shooting. So we're going to come inside the update, and we're going to have the current weapon be assigned over here, and we're going to have a switch with the weapon type. If we have normal or akimbo, okay, basically everything we had already before, we're going to use the same behavior. Okay, shooting, current weapon, current weapon. And the new cases we're going to see is melee and the bow. Let's see the bow, which is kind of similar with the shooting one. So, handle bow, okay, we pass the weapon, we see, we assign if the current weapon is the same as basically this was for the akimbo mostly, but we need to have this over here so that it actually updates. Okay, so this will always run. It's going to update the aim position of the weapon with the look hit position of the stage. If bow L is the bow logic, is null, then goes and gets it from the same game object that we have our weapon. Okay, this will only run once. Now, we're going to set manually the akimbo into our animator. So it comes over here on the left hand layer, and it's going to play this animation, which basically is the idle of when we use what we use on the akimbo too. Okay, just for now, we will see later, or you might want to separate this into a different animation and have different. Okay, as I said, the scale of the project is too big right now, and just adding features that everybody requests makes a thing like pretty hard to work with. Okay, you can understand that. So we have to cover more generic stuff, not specific cases like this. Okay, and that's why we need to manually set the animator, and then we're going to check if we are aiming, and if our weapon is not it's pretty much able to shoot, and we have ammo on it. Okay, it's kind of different like what we do with the other weapons. The order is kind of different with the shooting. Okay, because we first check if we can shoot, and then we actually start checking the current bullets. Over here, we're going to check first if we can shoot and if we have ammo. Okay, we're checking them together. If we have ammo, we want the holster arrow to be open. Okay, and that's what we are using set active to true. If we actually shoot, then we're going to say weapon stats, current bullets. Okay, if we have actually bullets, set the weapon as an empty gun to false, or basically you can make it true since we're running this, I guess. Now we need to find the direction towards where the arrow is going to fly. We have the direction will be, of course, weapon aim position minus we're going to use the right hand target, since the right hand target is basically what supposedly holds the arrow. We normalize that, we turn it into a quaternion. We have the spawn position, and we add a little bit on the Y, just so that it actually looks like it goes from the fingers, because the right hand is a little bit the actual transform position is a little bit lower than where the hand is, or where the upper fingers of the hand is. Okay, and we instantiate the arrow prefab. The arrow prefab alone has its own logic, so we're going to see that in a bit. Okay, on the spawn position, on target rotation as game object, and we use get component arrow logic, and we pass the owner which is this guy, and we pass the stage basically of the owner. Weapon don't shoot. You cannot shoot anymore, of course, since you only have one arrow. We start the coroutine that handles the fire rate. We basically decrease the only one bullet we have, and if the current ammo is higher than 0, then we say reload the weapon. Okay, if we cannot shoot, then that means holster arrow will be set active to false, and when we are not aiming, we also want the holster arrow to be false. Now, the arrow logic, let's see the arrow prefab first before we see the arrow logic. The arrow logic is over here. Okay, this is the script. We have a rigid body. Here it is. Okay, inside it there is a game object with the arrow, and also a trail ender just so that it actually shows, because it goes too fast for anyone to see. Speed, you can use your own, of course. Range 1 is basically I'm doing a raycast to see what I'm hitting in front of it. Okay, because there is no colliders over here, and I'm just using the rigid body to do the parabolic arc. So, arrow logic. Okay, a simple projectile. If you want to have multiplayer in a game like this, basically you do not want to use rigid bodies over the network. Just keep that in mind. Rigid body. Okay, speed, range, we said all this. On start we just get the rigid body, and then we add force on the forward vector multiplied by the speed, and all that by impulse, so everything is applied at one frame. And then on fixed update we do a raycast from our transfer position, transfer forward, okay, out hit, the range we have over here, and we pass from the owner, we pass the layer mask, so we do not hit our own collider, and we do not hit anything the player will actually ignore, like, you know, like trigger colliders and all that. Okay, and if we hit something, we'll make this kinematic and we'll make it to parent under. You can try hit transform to parent, but with because the scale of my arrows is a little bit off, because I didn't take that into account, you will see that, okay, we have the arrow projectile to be 1, and all this is -1. I find it that parenting it on the parent of the hit works better than messing with the scale. If you have all your world and all your game object as you should on one, or you know, on vector 1, so everything is 1, then you won't have this problem. Okay, just play with what you want, what you need, and what we can do is disable this script, not this game object, this script. Keep in mind that there is no pulling and there is no destroying the arrows. Okay, so I purposely didn't destroy the arrows. Of course, you can add the timer and make it destroyed. But yeah, if you want to have so that you can pick arrows, you can add them. You can basically close this, encapsulate this into a different function, and enable, when you hit something, enable, you know, the pickup logic we already have seen in a previous video. Okay, I will leave that to be handled by you. And that's basically the arrows. Of course, you need to set up your your arrows, your IK and all that. And let's see. Okay, you will see that you can fire the arrow nicely. Let's pause that. Doesn't matter that. Okay, let's see. Let's close the guy over here. Let's close the input holder and freak camera look. Now what we can do is have him aim like that, and we can go and play with basically RIK objects. Okay, right elbow controls where the elbow is. Look target basically will control his the position of his body. Left hand, of course, the left hand and all that. Maybe he's too good and he fires like that. Okay, there's a lot of stuff you can do, as you can imagine, and it depends how you want to handle it. You can even make it like this, but of course you need to take into account how this will look. Okay, of course. You can play basically and set this to your heart's content, or what you feel looks best, or yeah, you can make him aim at his knee, and yeah, that's probably a pretty old meme anyway. Okay, so that's basically for the arrows. Let's see the melee. The melee is going to be somewhat the same logic, but as you can see over here, I've set up my weapon reference and I've set up my weapon type to melee. I'm still going to keep melee weapon and akimbo, since this control other stuff, especially the melee weapon controls the, you know, the takedown holders and all that. So we're kinda using this. So yeah, let's just keep it like this. And for the bow, of course, I have bow, and of course I do not want to have enabled the RK when we're not aiming, because we're using the left hand. As I said, for the knife, we're still going to use the AK holder and look around, since we're going to use the AK, and we're going to have a look target where the body is going to face, and the bullet spawner, of course there is no bullets, but it's where the recast will start to see what we are hitting. Okay, so let's go into handle shooting, which will be over here. Okay, handle bow. We need to close all this, we do not have a use for them. Okay, melee is this. If states shoot, or yeah, we can pretty much use this. If not, weapon don't shoot. Weapon start coroutine. Okay, it does it plays it crossfades with another animation I have. Let's see the animator. I basically added a new layer so that it works better with my animations, and I only have the arm selected. Okay, from an empty state, the knife idle when we are aiming. When we are hitting, I want to crossfade with this animation, knife hit, and it just go with X time, it's going to fall back on the empty layer, and then come over here and basically it's going to play this animation. And we're not aiming, it's going to go outside of this animation. Okay, so keep that in mind. Start coroutine, delayed attack weapon. So basically, because you cannot recast directly when you are leaving when you are hitting the weapon, you need to wait a bit to do the recast so that it looks like, you know, the knife actually connected with the target. And that's why we have this coroutine. Okay, it waits for 0.8, just so with the animation I used, that it works. The same thing, aim position. The direction we're going to go to is weapon aim position minus our bullet spawner position, which is basically the center of about the center of his body. We do a raycast. Okay, our origin, our direction, our hit, 2, so 2 points in front of the player. You will hit something, and we pass the layer masks with all the layers we want to ignore. And if we hit shooting range target, or if you hit an enemy, or all that, you can add this over here. Just the same with the arrow logic. Of course, you can add more logic over here. We can actually add the same logic. We can copy paste this over here. Though, since I think it looks better if you keep your targets. So let's just comment this out, and if you want to have them, okay, because right now it will hit a target, but it will not make the target fall. So I think it looks a little bit better. Or yeah, let's just test it, and we will see what looks better. As I said, but before we do that, let's go to handle shooting. Okay, and we need to add handle fire rate. Let's copy paste that. So we're starting 2 coroutines. Okay, so that you can actually do melee once more. Let's see it. Let's maximize it too. And I should have probably deleted my clone. He's the evil clone. Okay, let's see. This is the melee, and if we are going close to a target, of course you see the timing needs a little bit of work there. So that is homework for you. And let's test the arrows, and you can see that they also fall down, and didn't hit it or something. And at most cases it's going to stick, except if sometimes, especially because these have mesh colliders, since the rigid body might go too fast, mesh colliders are usually kinda slow. Okay, sometimes it might not even stick, but you can see that at this point it sticked, and they also have pierced through. Okay, all this stuff you need to take into account. Of course, you can change that and use something else. Okay, there's a lot of stuff you can do over here, and there's a lot of stuff in general you can add and do, but you can see that with just a few changes we did into our script, how we actually created a whole new behavior for our game. Okay, and we basically wrote like 10 lines, even less. Now, before I forget, the way we had it previously is if we are having a melee weapon, we actually couldn't aim, basically. So if you want to use the knife, you need to come in here on the IK handler and comment this and this, because if you are using a melee weapon, the previous scripts we wrote, okay, we had the lock weight to be clamped at 0, so you basically didn't have any aiming. And the same, I think, on the state manager. No, on the input handler, I think. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, on the input handler. If states wasn't melee, then you could aim, otherwise states aiming and false. Okay, you need to comment this out for it to, for you, if you want to be able to aim with a melee weapon. Okay, otherwise you will see that this will not let you aim, so you also cannot hit something. And yeah, this will not use the AK, so it will probably be just worthless. And of course, if you want to use that with the unarmed, then it's a whole different thing. Okay, now he's on unarmed, it's not the knife, now it's the knife. All this stuff, as I said, are stuff you need to think, and you need to change your logic accordingly so that it looks, so that you know it works better than this, because right now we have made a pretty nice spaghetti, but it might be tasteful. It doesn't mean it will give you stomach aches later. Okay, so I'm going to see what we can do with the animations. Okay, and I'm going to see if we can refactor all of this, rewrite it cleaner, better, faster, and you know, all that nice stuff. So it will basically be third-person shooter on steroids. So you know what to do. Like, subscribe if you want to see when we turn this into a steroid freak. And of course, if you like what we're doing here and on all the other parts and all the other videos, then consider supporting me either on Patreon or with Project 2 from Gumroad, so that we can continue making freaky projects like all this. And I'll see you next time.